Hello and welcome to the Badger Grounds, and today's video is the Secret Spots of Taego guide.
Bitch, go to bed. Tell me I shot him in the head.
So I'm just going to show you a few places you may have never seen anyone get access to before and how I get there. So the first up, we're looking at the studio, and in this bottom building here with the T-Rex display, I'm going to show you how to get up above that onto the support structure above. So it's all pretty straightforward up until this point. When you vault over, you land on the tail of this plane. You have to make sure you're right on the highest point of this tail. It's a bit of a tricky jump, and then you do a sideways jump off of the tallest point. It can be a little tricky, and that pops you on the top there. And whilst you're at the top, you can go all along the sides, and you can even drop down onto the planets that are also suspended. And here, if you're finding that last jump a bit tricky and you're playing duos or squads, simply place your teammate on the opposite side, and that stops you vaulting over and you land directly on top. And even better, if you're alone, you can also do this with a drone. Also down the opposite end of this room, there's the T-Rex down there. You can also get up on this end using a shield. And then once you're up here, you will also need a bicycle, or another shield would also work. Now once you're up here, you just vault over on top of this board here. Walk along until you find the long beam here, where you can just vault directly up. One thing to note when you are up here is the bits I'm on now are all solid, and you can walk all the way along all of these ones here. But the other solid beams, these ones here, are not all solid, and you will fall down. Okay, staying in the studio, in one of these other warehouses here, this one here, you can get up on top of this fake town, simply with a shield. And just note that the bicycle will not work, as the shield is slightly taller than the bicycle. And everything up here is solid, and you can walk along. Apart from these beams at the top, you cannot access them. And then moving into this next warehouse, you can also get on top the same structure supports as from the first warehouse here, using a bicycle. And then what you'll need is also the drone, which will stop you from vaulting over these obstacles and will let you land directly on top of them, which you would not be able to do without the drone. So the drone lets you land on top, and then simply reposition the drone, and you can do this a couple of times until you get all the way to the top. And finally at Studio, the next warehouse, you can also access the top of that one. This time you will need the bicycle. To take it nice and easy here, because it's not a very wide target, you drive the bicycle up here and try to position it on this narrow structure with the handlebars in line with this this beam that we're going to be attempting to vault up from. There, I'll line her up and then up you go. And once again, the drone will stop you from vaulting up and over, and will pop you on the top. Okay, next we are going to Heimusa, and one of the shrine buildings, I like to call them. You are able to get on top of this structure here. A couple of ways you can do this. You're going to need the first way is using 2 of either shields or bicycles, so you need 2 total either or. And the first step is to be able to jump high enough that you can land on this bit here, and then you can vault up. And then you can repeat the step once you've reached this platform to go even higher. And then once you're on this beam, you can even go higher by ledge grabbing onto this little column here, and you can get onto the wall itself, and you'll be able to narrowly walk all the way around to wherever you please. And if you think like finding a shield and a bicycle would be too hard, you can do it all using only a drone. Just block your vault here, and then reposition your drone up here, and then once again that will stop you from vaulting up and over and put you on the top. Here is the roof of Hosan Prison, which you can land in a hot drop. You could drop down, and weapons for some reason do spawn up on the top here. And you obviously can also come here later in the game with an emergency pickup or jumping out of a glider. But can you get here by climbing up? And the answer is, of course. For this one you will need 2 shields once more. And the first step is something I'm sure many people are familiar with from the lobby. Climb these steps here, jump up onto this little ledge and carefully walk around, which gains you up 1 extra level. And once here, plonk down a shield. And ledge grab up here. And then one final step, 1 more shield again, and the bicycle again will not work for this one. And simply jump up. And here we are at the broken bridge. This is just an insight into how I find places. I see this gap down here, I take the drone in and discover that this is a hidden wall where the drone will not go through, whereas this side it's open. So I know that it is possible to get here. So I try various methods. Until eventually find one that succeeds. I mean, the advantages of being here, I'm not sure there are any. But if you ever see a place and think, can I get there? I like to see if I can. Right, into the palace. The big shrine room in the middle, a much taller building inside. This was very tricky to find a way up. I tried lots of methods, and eventually I had to resort to a very speculative and very dangerous method. Drop the gas cans, pour some gas, jump up on the handlebars, ignite the gas, and pray. And up you go. People will not expect someone to be up here, and it's a very nice spot. Again, just like in Hey Musa, you can climb up on the wall. Obviously this is somewhat impractical, and the chance of you dying is very, very high. Saying that, I have managed to get up a few times during live games, and even managed to kill people from up here, but it's a beautiful spot.
I thought I loved you, but there was a lie. You just like that nigga,